Okay, yes, lads. Welcome to episode 47 of the Value of Talent podcast. I'm your host, Harry Trades, and with me, as always, the main man, Federico. What is going on, brother?
Good day to everybody. Happy to be back. Is it Sora season time announcements or not? That's gonna be the question of the pod. Happy to have to just meet my brother again, just talk to him a bit. It's just some hectic weeks and everything. So yeah, let's talk some nice little Sora talk. Haven't done that in a bit of a while, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I missed you, mate, to be fair. I know you've been busy and stuff. You've been in and out of countries and helping people and, just being an overall good guy. So I
Yeah.
understand it. But yeah, I have missed our WhatsApp brands. I've missed obviously, doing the pod, even though, it wasn't that long ago we did it. But
No, it wasn't, but it's just it felt like the last two pods obviously haven't been like don't get me wrong, I love Disco so much and I do love him, but it was just Argentina focused and it wasn't like just talking to you about what's going on and everything, you know.
mhm.
It's just different. It's just different. But
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's different. But
we
different's
will have
good, isn't
an
it? We
MLS
need we need to mix.
special
I was
very
just gonna
soon.
say we need
So
we need to mix it up a little bit sometimes. Sorry to interrupt you there, but yeah, you are right. We will be having an MLS special. Sorry, very very soon. I think next episode we're gonna have a special guest on to cover that because yeah, MLS is coming thick and fast, isn't it? I know we've got MLS teams or MLS team, i.e. Vancouver, playing this midweek actually, um,
yes.
which is
And I
exciting for
think
them. But I don't have
Philly
any
plays
cards from
next
Vancouver.
one.
Did
I
they?
think
Okay.
I think, yeah, Justin glad. I think Quinny's gonna be happy about that. But I think it's a very strange game week anyway. So,
Hmm.
um, and I think there's not really a big prize pool since I think Vancouver and Tigres are the only two covered America teams this upcoming midweek.
Yeah,
To be
you could
honest,
be you could be right. Yeah,
so
I covered it. I covered it earlier with lead, but yeah, there's not many in America at all. Actually, you're right. I think they could only be the only two actually. But I mean, if you've got those stacks, it's a good time to be able to maybe get some rewards. Why not?
there's other America
Like
squads
competitions.
playing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think they're basically at least they're not licensed. They're covered, but not licensed in a way.
Got you. Yeah, there's lots of
Club
Colombia, lots
America
of
is playing.
Ecuador.
Club America is
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, they are. You're right. Yeah,
Argentinian
nice.
Juniors, but somehow they,
Yeah.
as we knew from last two episodes, they basically rerouted the whole squad. So not, and some of them don't have cards or are not as usual. Let's say that. For example, the goalie doesn't have cards and everything.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be a very strange game week. And the problem is you can't really play it in All-Star as well because you still have Celtic who have a midweek game. So
Yeah.
even if you are playing Vancouver or Tigres deck, I would not put it in All-Star because just Celtic, even though they haven't been that great the last few games in a way, but Celtic can always do Celtic and win 4-0. And then even if you have a nice result in that your boys actually got you, it's not gonna amend to anything because it's overrun by Celtic stacks, which is very very popular on Sora. So yeah,
For sure.
I'm not gonna give it a shot at the American one. If you win, it's nice Eve in the bank or not, but this is a
Yeah,
very quiet midweek.
it is, isn't it? I was building some lineups earlier, and if you have strong challenger cards, I was just telling somebody, I was like, especially Celtic, I would just throw them into challenger because you've basically got not a free hit because there's going to be multiple multiple Celtic
Yeah,
stacks, I assume. But if you can put maybe one differential in there, maybe a different forward or a different whatever, I just think you're just sort of helping your chances of winning something because if you go into All Star, there's so many things going on. You just don't know. There's just so many like blue X
yeah.
players could pop off, and it's hard to predict.
It's very hard to predict. And Nigeria also plays, I think, against Cup. I don't know who they're playing. I won't. I don't. I'm not saying anything wrong. So I'm not even saying it. So that's gonna be strange. But I think American pool is quite decent for it only being 2 teams licensed, to be honest. I think you still can win £250 as first. In also Rare Plus, we're talking, obviously. And I think a Star Rare as the first. In America, Rare Plus, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
You can
yeah.
still win a Rare as first and £200, which isn't the worst. Like, but you have to become first, obviously.
Of course. Yeah. How many people are in Rare Plus? 56. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
better
but
than 10% shot right now.
it's a 10% shot. It's a bit strange with the America Rare Plus ones because there's always so many entries into this competition. I don't understand why. Like, if you look at the numbers entering and the lineups, actually, it's the strangest one. Like, to me, the comparison, like, from rewards given out and lineups entered, America Rare Plus is one of the worst you can actually play, to be honest. It's one of the most fun as well. I love playing it, but it's one of the worst, for sure.
So you're probably better off playing under America Rare, basically.
If you don't have the but if you have the super rares,
yeah.
if you have the supers, always play the plus.
I saw you had a good little finish in All Star, wasn't it, this weekend?
Yeah.
Wow, it looks like it's gonna. Yeah. Wow, and a challenger actually. How did you feel about Paulo Diaz coming off a couple minutes before his clean sheet?
Yeah. I prefer not to talk. Let's say that. I prefer not to talk. Yeah, it would have been great. Just a little bit more points.
I mean, you still probably would have finished in tier 1. It's just a little bit more ETH, right?
I would love to just end in the £200 record. That's all I want, basically. It's going to be very, very difficult because City's still up to play at 8.
True.
So there's going to be some massive scores there as well. This one is done, so this I'm very happy with. Misic let me down a bit, but our boy Batrina finally got an assist or a goal. And Perkovic is anyways one of probably my favorite players at the moment in the whole world.
Did you see my boy Aguiwara?
Yeah, but I don't understand what this Dynamo coach is doing. I really don't understand.
They're struggling for centre backs, no? Because that's why Petrovic played there. No?
Yeah, Petrovic is a born centre back, to be honest. I think.
Okay, sorry.
He used to play centre back, but he can also play left back. But I think he was. I just don't understand why this Teofil Katarina is still playing professional football.
Bro, he used to play for Cardiff City in the Premier League. Do not diss.
Man, he's so bad. He's the worst I've ever seen. And Perich is out for a month, so I understand that. But they have still Ben now. Sutel is also out, so that's also not good. But they got this young kid Zivkovic. Now they just got him to weaken Lokomotiv Zagreb and not really to play him, but just to weaken him. And this 34-year-old stranger Teofil is rocking it up in at Dynamo. So not the biggest fan. Unfortunately, Music got the yellow card. Would have loved 3 more points, 5 more points actually. But it is what it is, and Music is just a perfect card to have. He won't ever give you the hundreds, but he does 50 to 70 basically every game.
Yeah, he's a good card, isn't he? Set pieces. This look good. 220. Have you got a long form?
No, nothing really special.
Bro, Pedro Neto's on fire right now, isn't he?
He was always on fire. He's a beast of a player. He's always very injury prone. He's a bit like Doku. If they play, they are very good, but at the moment they don't. It's basically half of the season gone. Who's really on fire and probably the best player of United at the moment is Garnacho, and he's also pretty good on Sorare, to be honest. He has very good AA for a striker. Very good AA.
How does he get his AA? Attempted assists.
Yeah. He does very good. He got 62 just off AA last midweek.
I did basically. Last midweek. Yeah. I saw that.
He's a beast. I have to start trusting him in more important lineups, basically.
Yeah, he's a good card. Very good. Davis out for 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. He got an error at the goal, Neuer? Crazy, didn't know that.
Apparently.
It wasn't
That's good for you.
It wasn't important anyways, but Yeah, Sporting killed like 4 lineups of mine, but who cares? Like, I can't. Not that I don't care, but you can't always look on the negative side. I have hopefully
Yeah, you
the
have
only
many
one
positives.
exactly, and Sporting being cancelled. The positive one is I have another game week where I can just use them. Basically, midweek when nobody would have thought I could use them. The only thing is for Sporting to get basically for redemption, please Santiago Sosa score 62 points so I get the big threshold. It's super
Oh
fun.
yeah, yeah.
That's all I want. Then I'm fine, to be honest.
Oh, is this the new Vinny Souza for Mechelen?
He
Maybe.
seems to.
Very
He
similar
seems to be.
scores, yeah.
Hey,
Very
we love
young,
a AA
19.
monster. We
We do
love
like the
AA
AA.
monster.
They always seem to
23
come out
quid.
of Belgium. 23
23
quid, is
quid,
that
man. That's
three
nothing. Just
three
get it.
day average?
60.
£64 floor price.
Still, brother, it's like nothing. Like the prices we used to know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
Okay,
this
go on.
hopefully changes very soon. But yeah, let's hope
And have
maybe
fun
Paulo
as
Diaz
well, right?
gets some decisive action countered. But yeah, this man is on fire.
Jesus Christ.
This man is on fire, brother. This man is on fire.
Boy, a German boy actually I played in America with at my college.
Yeah.
He either used to play with Dennis Undav or against him. I can't remember which one, but I'm gonna say against, I think. No, actually, I actually think with. Did he used to play for Hanover, do you know?
No. Undav played very low divisions.
I know, but
He was
like, did he play for like
he has a
Hanover
very
2 maybe? Mhm.
unusual road to glory. His first bigger club was with 24 and with 25, and that was Union Saint Galois.
Yeah, I'm saying like my friend played with him when he was very young, you know. He played for Brown. Yeah, maybe this team here.
Meppen, maybe.
Where is Meppen? Is that German?
Nah.
Yeah.
He played that.
Maybe
He played.
because my
Meppen,
friend played for Hanover under 23s, so he must have played against him. I'm guessing, if
probably.
that makes sense. But
Yeah.
he said he was really good actually, but he didn't really like foresee him being like a Premier League player, you know. But yeah, very hard to tell at those younger ages. So if he says the price we used to play like 3 years are actually insane. Yeah, I mean it's tough to look at, isn't it? If we go down that rabbit hole, Feder.
Yeah, it's very tough to look at. But it's not always. It's 50% Sorare's fault, I have to say, and I still love them, and I think it's great. I think they still have loads of opportunities, so I'm not too worried, to be honest. And I'm just excited for this news to come out, to be honest. I don't.
Well, I was
I
just gonna
think
say,
people are
what are we
just
thinking then,
over.
news-wise?
I think they're gonna introduce more credits, to be honest. Probably more cash rewards, in
Like
my opinion.
auction credits,
Yeah, auction credits. I think. Then
like
more.
win them or
Yeah, win them. Sorry, mate. I had to just.
that's fine.
Somebody called me, and I had. Not to win them, but yeah, to win them as replacements for cards. Probably that's what I hope they are going to do, and I hope they stop this bloody overminting. And it's crazy how much they overmint at the moment. I don't understand why. Like now, especially the last 2 months, there has been like zero to none demand because everybody is waiting and checking what's coming up. And they're minting like crazy, brother. We are getting starting keepers for 120 quid, and that's not the fault of the game being bad, but of Sorare auctioning this guy every 3 days. You know what I mean?
Have a look at this, right? I saw somebody bought a Labrovich. Look at this, 12 hours ago, for £183, right?
This is just crazy.
And 3 days ago, I mean, you just have to look at he auctioned 4 days ago for 230, but 261 their offer. I don't know what these trades are. This could be, yeah, there's just trades, but you know what I mean? Like, that's not even, well, it is a bit of a jump, but it's not like like 13 days ago, or £250 12 days ago. And now he's okay. He did have a midweek fixture. Like there is things to go into that. Like I'm not just saying, the platform's dying, like just because of this one
Yeah, for course.
goalie. I'm just saying, I just randomly saw it on Sorare because I have his card. So I just saw that he'd auctioned yesterday for that amount. I'm just like, fair enough. Like he is aging out. Like I get it. Like there is
No, but we can't
circumstances.
always explain everything, blah blah blah. I know so many
No,
people
maybe not. Maybe
that
not. Yeah.
it is shit. It is what it is. It has no point saying something else, to be honest. And I think they know it and they understood it, and I hope they're going to work against something like that. I don't say Labrovic should be worth £2,000. I think that
Of
would be very
course.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
That would be even more unhealthy than how the prices are right now. But at least like £350 he should be worth, or at least £400, something like that. Like
Well,
I
I mean,
think
that's what it
as they
was
have
worth,
been
wasn't it?
as they have been until like November, I think the prices were pretty healthy, to be honest. Now we're getting in zones where it's really getting unhealthy also for Sora, because they are losing loads of money because of people reaping this thresholds and everything, So and I don't understand. I know they are working because I have loads of friends who are in contact with them in day-to-day action, basically, but they're just a bit slow, and that's all. And
Yeah,
it
I get
shocks
it
me a
though.
bit. Uh,
It's hard though,
that
isn't it, Fedis? We
it's
speak
very
about it all
hard.
the time, but like it's a unicorn product. Like there's just nothing like it. Like there's no
Yeah, it's very
blueprint to
great.
go off. It's
And
amazing. Yeah, it's changed things maybe forever as far as the industry goes. But because it's the first, is it going to fall, victim to being the first? Because it's going to have to make all the mistakes first. Like nobody
I
else
have
made these mistakes prior to this, really.
I think they are in this genre are not really the first in a way, but I understand what you
Mm,
mean. I think
Who
they
were the
just
first
need
then?
to I think they just need to even our so-called football index was kind of maybe the first in this
Yeah,
market. You
but
understand
not
what I mean?
fantasy. No, but that wasn't
Not
fantasy
not
football.
fantasy, but but then DraftKings and all that's all fantasy basically.
Right.
Um,
Nobody's had ownership of cards. It's a completely different thing. Like,
yeah, but do we really have ownership of cards if they're over minting like crazy and everything? And Mbappe
I
is
mean, the
already
fact that,
five.
well, I
You know
mean,
what I mean? It's a virtual ownership of the card. Basically, it's a DFS fantasy game. Nothing else, to be honest. You can't. There's no real collection bonus in it. Like I'm completely honest now, because it has no sense talking about. There's no collection bonus in it except of being better at the game. Nobody cares about anything else collection wise.
well, you
Okay,
could
there's
win
some people.
jerseys and I mean, there's
Yeah,
fun
okay,
things. There is fun things
yes, but
connected to that.
that's true, but nobody like if they wouldn't have any value by playing SO5, probably nobody would have bought them.
Well, of
Like
course,
if
yeah, to
Sora,
extract. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But
if your cards wouldn't
there is other things
exactly
that people buy cards for. Like it's not just to
thousand
play
percent.
SO5. Yeah, I agree. 90% of people buying cards are probably doing it because they want to play SO5 and they want to win things. 100%.
Exactly, or they think this guy could develop into the next superstar or whatever. See it a
Hmm.
bit as a stock, as an investment, which is completely fine, and it is completely correct. Um, the the only thing is just they need to bit like the pressure. I think they're minting themselves. Like this minting is just making me crazy because they're bringing the whole market down themselves, and it's bad for them. It's worse for them than for us. We
Well, yeah,
lose
they get
money,
less
yes.
revenue, right?
First of all, we lose. They get less bad revenue. They have costs that they have to pay,
Hmm.
licenses they have to fulfill, etc., etc. So
Yeah, yeah.
it is kind of strange, and Suresh should want prices not to collapse every time or not to be that fluctuative. You know what? They should sometime be fluctuated, because if they wouldn't, there couldn't be any FOMO in a
You
way.
want
But
them to fluctuate on in real life things happening, like the guy getting injured or the team playing really well.
exactly,
You don't want
exactly,
it to fluctuate based off of their lack of or lack of control and supply, right? Is that kind of
thousand
the
percent,
way?
1000%, and
Yeah.
it's just unhealthy that it just goes down. It doesn't see any other direction, to be honest. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
and and this is just nobody. I don't care about the prices of the money itself. I just care how you can market this product. and I'm saying this again, I said that half a year ago. So nobody's ever gonna buy it. It doesn't matter how great the game is, because the game is great. Yes, nobody's
Yeah.
ever gonna buy into a falling knife. Never. Okay.
I mean,
And
yeah, you say that, but
if you
people are
only,
still buying Labrovich at £200 when he was
yeah, but
£400
it's not
3
new
months
people.
ago.
I bet with you, it's not a new user.
Probably, yeah. Fair enough.
It's
Fair enough.
somebody
Yeah.
who's, but I'm talking about new users. You're not gonna attract any new users if you show them the price graph of the goods. Nobody.
But then Laird always speaks about this. Like, do new users even look at price graphs? Is another question.
They do, because Sorare made it very clear that they show the last 5 sales.
Fair. Okay, I get that, but I mean, like, historically, like if we look a year, like year.
No, not a year, but even the last 5 sales are always going down. That's the worst thing.
Fair
You know
enough.
what I
Fair
mean?
enough. Yeah. No, I can agree with that.
So why the hell should you buy it?
Because
If
yeah.
like you say,
I
I
don't
wait
know.
2 months and I get it for £50 instead of £100. You know?
Yeah, but people aren't as rational as that, as we know. People buy now because they want the new shiny thing right now.
It is becoming disrationalized because they're not really going up again. So there is no. I've heard people, like, seriously, that are now, there's no rush to go into the market and buy cards now
Mhm.
if something crazy happens, because it's going down anyways. You know, before there was this immense rush, this FOMO. Oh, this is a huge transfer coming. I need to go and buy this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens, and 2 days later, he's already lower in the market than he used to be. You know what I mean? So why rush and buy him immediately? And that's a problem.
Yeah, no, it is, mate. It is. But is there one decision that
Solution:
solves all this? Yeah, is there a one-stop shop
get
to
excitement back to Sora. Yes,
right? Okay,
make it
but
excited again to play.
that is that's like,
Yes,
that's
unfortunately,
not the whole tree, is it? That's just one branch of it.
just one apple. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. But it's a very, very big apple. It's a very
Agree.
golden apple. Let's say that.
Mhm.
And
Monkey
you
says
could take
auctions
that
won't change dramatically. Pointless debate, in my opinion.
Yeah, they won't. They're not going to change it. I agree with Super Monkey. I agree with them 1,000%. But then they need to find something else. Then the problem is we have a too high of an influx of cards, in my opinion. That's just my blunt opinion. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and we're talking with people who love the game exactly as we do, and you can't, like, again, this weekend there's gonna come another 900 cards just through All-Star Rare. You know what I mean? And it's completely fine with the auctions, but you can't have auctions and then every 3 days have another 900 there, have another 900 there. So
You mean
you
the
have to
rewards?
replace.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to replace one of these huge influxes to stabilize the market. At least if it's
Right.
not growing as they are supposed, as they think it could have grown. And I think
Mhm.
I didn't really anticipate the situation they are in right now. I think they would have grown. I think they themselves thought they would have grown a lot more, and they would have had way more paying users in a way. But
Okay.
at least that's what I feel, and that's what I feel the potential of this game is, of the platform and everything. And it's
Mhm.
just bloody awesome. The only thing I think, like, they could really, from my side, do a lot better is maybe, like, also the auctions. I don't say they should auction less or whatever, but maybe just conglomerate them on some certain days that people actually know this is gonna be on Sunday, is super Sunday transfer, something like that, or just on the last week of the month, so that you can go shop there. This is just some ideas. That's nothing they should implement or whatever. Just talking about it,
Yeah.
or something like super cool that we talked before is that some certain cards you can only win. That would be helpful for those cards, plus for excitement, because I need to win to get Jude Bellingham. I can't just buy him on the market, which
Right.
is a double-sided sword, because of course you want people to buy him on the market because it's cool to buy Jude Bellingham, but it
And it
would
makes
be
them a lot of
also,
money, right?
it makes them a lot of money as well. But it would be crazy if you can just win Jude Bellingham. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
So then
And
would that push up the prices of cards or good cards? Because the only route to a Bellingham is having good cards, basically, right? Because you need good cards
definitely,
to score
definitely,
well.
or some stacks or collections or whatever. Because
Yeah.
how the moment I see how people, there's 3 ways nowadays to win on Sorare. Have an odd midweek with some very strange players. Have an odd midweek.
Mhm.
Have a complete full collection stack with
Yeah.
the best percentages, and hope this stack then in that one game he flies, like pops off completely, or just buy the best cards in the game. That's the 3 ways how you win a competition on Sorare.
Okay. Do you not agree with those 3, or do you think there should be other ways?
No, I think it's fine, but this there needs to
Well,
be
wait there,
more
wait there. There is another one. The other one is, and for like, I know I'm guilty. I've been guilty of it, and everyone is. Obviously, for cat mode, you don't need good cards, really. You just need,
100%,
you
100%,
just need to buy mediocre cards. You don't,
100%, brother,
and that can
100%.
win you cash, right? Which I'm not saying is necessarily like a terrible thing, but in the current state of the market, it's working against the good cards because no one really wants to buy good cards because there's just not that much incentive to do so.
Exactly, because
There's
why
just not.
should you if you become like my friend now won? He won
Yeah.
Champion Europe last week, in the
Okay.
big weekend, not normal. He just won. Okay, it's just crazy to me because I called him on the phone and everything, and he won freaking Joshua Kimmich. Like a year ago, he would have destroyed his room of joy because of winning Joshua Kimmich. You know what I mean?
Right. Of
And,
course.
and
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I won Joshua Kimmich. 650 pounds, not really life changing, like
Yeah, we've lost the
uh,
jackpot element. Like
uh,
it's no
and
kidding, is it? It's true.
bro,
Like
like uh, a year ago that would have been like 8K. Man, with 8K you go on a really, really nice vacation. You wouldn't have sold them anyways, but it just in your mind that just brings up so many dreams out of
I
yours.
know. The
It's just
dopamine
crazy.
hit isn't as high, obviously, and we're unfortunately, these numbers do have an effect on
Yeah, for
us,
sure.
our decisions, etc., etc. But the issue is because we've been used to those numbers, isn't it, Feder? If those
For
numbers
sure,
never existed, and if Kimmich was always £600, then
yeah, but even that he bought a Stuttgart stack. He won that with a Stuttgart stack as well. And even the
yeah,
Stuttgart stack, not being super expensive, did cost him £2,400. So
okay.
of course it's a nice return, but
I mean, it's a great return,
yeah,
really.
but for the Stuttgart stack now is worth £1,700 basically.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, because since when he bought them in October. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And yeah, and it's just incredible to me. It's
This
crazy.
is
700 euros is so much money. You know what I mean? But he just won 700 euros, and
Of course,
it's
it's
it,
all
do- it
relative,
doesn't
isn't it?
yeah, it's just
This is a good point, though, by David. I do really agree with this.
no,
So it
no, but
never
I think
inflated the prices to that. Like they didn't do that. We did it at the end of the day because of the
no,
crypto
for
boom, and
sure.
you
For
know.
sure, because we were excited that you could
So
actually
like we
win.
can't blame Sorare for can we blame Sorare
Yes, we
that
can
Kimmich
blame
is six
Sora for
hundred
that.
pounds? You think?
Yes, because they're over minting. There's already 280 rare Kimmies on the market, something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's not really any excitement thing on the as jackpot elements in the
Like in the prize pools.
prize pools. The
But is that their
prizes are
fault?
always
Genuinely, right now, like what can they actually do to change that? Like,
they
okay, they
need to
can add
change
cash. I get.
sentiment. They need to change. The first thing Sora needs to do is to change sentiment. That people like I still do it because I love this game, but like that other 58% of Sora users go to their friends and tell, go and play that game. It's freaking fabulous, and you actually might even win some money, and that's not happening at the moment. And that's the first thing they have to change, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I
Because
get it.
that's how Sora works, especially I understand everything. It's just brand awareness. Now you see the banner there, then you get the one ad there, then you get the ad on TikTok, then you get this is all good build up, but then you go to one player friend who actually played this, and he's oh shit, I just lost so much money. Okay, done. All the good work they have done before gone by just talking to one unhappy user, and there's a load of unhappy users at the moment.
Well, this just comes back to what we say quite often. And I think it's been said in the community is
Yeah,
word
of
of
course.
mouth is the strongest form of marketing, and it
It
kind
is.
of always will be. at the end of the day,
and especially for Sorare,
and it's
where you
free.
have to
It
engage
costs
with money.
nothing.
Exactly. It does cost something because you have to keep your community pretty happy.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean?
But you're not
And
like buying a Facebook ad or something.
yes,
There's no sort of cost behind it in that sense. If
yes,
if the platform itself is at a healthy level to where prices aren't considerably falling, they might fall because a player's injured or player is not very good
exactly.
anymore, or reasons that are like footballing related. I think that's what as a community, that's what we want. We just want prices to change based off footballing, aspects. We don't want it to be.
1,000%.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We don't want it
probably.
to
I
be any
understand
other reason.
1,000%. Yeah, I understand what you mean, for sure. I completely understand what you mean, like for real.
Mhm.
And the other thing I would love Sorare to do, to be honest, like I'm actually super excited to see, because one thing that's pretty obvious and pretty easy to see is that they're not gonna abandon thresholds, because that would be very suicidal from them, to be honest. But that they could basically say, okay, you don't get the threshold money anymore, but you get them in Sorare credits on auctions, basically something like that. I'm actually gonna see if how the community this will work that out, or there's gonna be more DFS tournament styles, or our leagues or sponsored tournaments. What we think, that's just I'm sure they're gonna do that in the future, and that's gonna be very great for Sorare. And I think some people will leave, and it's also good. And the ones who will stay and remain the store could have a very golden future, in my opinion. But they just need to act now and do on the promises, basically, and see. And the only personal preference, like gone away to all the economics, is I would love them to focus a bit more on pro again. I understand that Riot's now the go-to, but maybe just focus a bit the same as on pro. And one thing, I would love them to just do the freaking shop better. Like, I understand the raffles and everything, it already got a bit better, but it's still so much potential lost in that, and so much collectivity attention as well. It's great. Yeah,
Says
and
I think they
also
need to stop adding pointless teams. I mean, it's a good point.
exactly. We don't need Ispulyaspor, which they had a big announcement last Thursday, but we might need Paris Saint-Germain. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, they know they need Paris Saint-Germain. I just think
know everybody knows
yeah,
that.
I know.
And I think they're pretty pissed they don't have them. But
this
yes,
is an interesting one. Well, not interesting, but yeah, David agrees with the whole stable market thing. Before that, though, Sorry Monkey put up a good point, is despite whatever they say, Feder, it's going to be good for some people, okay for others, and bad for others again.
yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, they say one sentence, but that sentence can mean so many different things to so many different users. Is the issue, but you have to just live with that. Like you can't please the whole class. I'm a teacher. There's going to be some kids that don't like me. There just is. There's going to be some that love me, and there's going to be some that just are indifferent and they don't really care. And that is it's just going to be true in most things. And in this communities, football and money and all these type of variables that come together, there is just going to be unhappy people, whilst others are going to be happy, and it can't suit everyone is the issue. And I do feel sorry for Sorare. I do, because
I do feel sorry for them as well.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for them as well. And I think Super Monkey, who, shout out to him, I really respect, and also respect his opinion. One of the ones I actually do respect and listen to. But in my opinion, it has to be like the first priority should be the bigger paying people. Like even people who put in £2,000. I'm not saying a million like guys like Franksy or Team Bambi, but just people who put in £2,000, that they're not like a slap in the face. Oh, now it's worth 500. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I sorry to say, this should be the most priority group of personas, if you would say, if you cluster them, in my opinion, and not the guys who just don't even buy a single card or whatever. And sometimes I have this feeling, unfortunately. Could be just also me. You know what I mean?
Okay, just a random question. Do you think if Sorare could turn back the hand of time, would they still bring out limited? Yes or no? If they knew how everything would unfold, do you think they still go through with it? Yes or no?
That's a very good question, to be honest, brother. at the day they had to. They had to because they thought they wouldn't have had all those leagues. But you understand
Right.
what I mean? So they
Yeah.
had to give cards to the people because there were way too many people and not enough cards. That's what triggered this huge bubble we had before.
Hmm.
And but if I think if under the premises that they would have signed all the clubs they have right now and they would knew that, they, in my opinion, they shouldn't have introduced limited. I think they wouldn't have had, but probably they would have had because it was always their goal to introduce all these clubs. You know what I mean?
And they always said, what we want to be, the biggest in that sense. And,
Yeah,
you can't be the
big on
biggest if
what?
you've only have 100 supply of one card, a year anyway.
You can.
I mean, you can clearly, yeah. Now we know that now. We know that now, but
Man,
I don't.
the Apple grew to the biggest company in the world by selling substantially less laptops than Dell and other manufacturers just because they had the premium product.
Mhm.
So you can
Charlie
become
says
the biggest.
the game was too elitist back then. I think they had to. A 1K entry point back then would never make the game popular. That is a good point. But then, I mean, what does Sorare prefer? Popularity or like revenue? I know they both come in hand to hand. Sorry, but like, what would you prefer?
The
Ten
problem is
thousand.
they went to I think they went the route of popularity, but just shot in their own leg basically because I think they're the least popular they have ever been. Like I have not heard a single person, and I'm crying saying that, who says a positive word about Sora or somebody, even like friends of mine who know they are betting addicts and everything. They would not touch Sora with a golden glove. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
But
that's bad.
is that
And when it
reversible
was
though? Is
only
that
and when it
reversible?
was yes, I think it is reversible. If
Okay.
you become more DFS style, if you get more cash prices, if cards get a value again, it is reversible. And I think when they just cared about growing revenue, growing, everybody else around them was also growing and was being happy. It's the same saying like every wise man says. You can't make everybody happy. Just focus on getting yourself happy. Then everybody around you will be happy.
Yeah, I mean, not
And they try to
necessarily.
make everybody happy. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I know. But can you
By the way,
blame
this
them?
is just
Really?
a very random episode. We're just talking, by the way, guys, you know?
Yeah, this is just spitballing. A couple of good things
Yes.
in the chat. David says, I think they would have, but they would have maxed it at 250. I think that's a good point. Maybe they wouldn't have come out with 1,000. I think that's a fair statement.
Yes.
Um,
But sometimes I just think they're a bit crazy because I think last year there were 10K. They tried to sell 10K NBA limited cards.
right. As in
You know what I
10,000
mean?
of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they had the
But
limit was
yeah.
1 to
Hmm.
10K.
Was
It's
it
crazy, brother.
4,000? Was it 4,000
What?
or 10,000? I can't
No, it
remember. I
was
don't know.
5,000. I think it was 5,000.
Really? Yeah.
Sorry. But
I know.
it's
I get
understandably
what
in
they're
a way.
thinking, though. I get it because they think there's so many NBA fans, there's so many DFS players.
Yeah.
Put them both together, and they're gonna love these cards. I get the hypothesis. Like it makes sense, but like in reality, it just doesn't, does it? Like it just doesn't translate.
Yeah, it could. I just think again. I think if you win now in NBA, like even if you have to become first, you get a card like worth £250. So that's really bad, you know.
Well, yeah, I don't know
And
what is going on over there. I've not followed that,
I
to be honest.
I
So
don't know as well. I just know some people friends of mine who play it and who are very unhappy, even more unhappy than we are at football. So that that speaks for something. And and yeah, it's I think this product is absolutely tremendously good. The platform can be tremendously good. Also, brother, like the problem is not everybody will always be happy. Put up the freaking market share. Just put up the thing at 10%, not 5%. Just try to make revenue there somehow. It's not always rocket science, and they know that as well. So I don't have to tell that to them.
no,
And
of
they're
course.
doing a great job. The only thing is they're a bit slow because if you would ask Sorare if 2023 was a successful year, I would say they would say yes. And for them, it actually was a successful year because they accomplished so many stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to look at the market to get the economics healthy again, to make the economics work again. Because if not, the future will not be there. Even though the platform you build or are building is getting better and better by day. Like,
of
I'm
course,
not
it's got
doubting
10
that.
times better, hasn't it? Yeah,
I'm
the
not
actual
doubting that.
UI and all the
Exactly.
fundamentals are there. It's just
Man, also just
unfortunately.
PayPal, man, that's absolutely crazy. That's
I
chapeau
know.
to them, hands down. And like, you can't express how great that
But
is.
they
Like,
add
for
in
real.
so many good things incrementally, you kind of forget like that they're that
Yeah,
good.
now they just need to
Because the
add.
market is down. People don't care that PayPal's a thing now. Like they do care, but like they don't
Yeah.
care as much, you know.
Yeah, people don't care as much. Man, I'm also just buying cards that are not gonna be minted anymore. That's basically all I do nowadays. Because I don't want to be in this spiral anymore. You know what I mean?
Simply Alex has a good question here. How would you feel if they cut supply to 500 limited and then rare to 50? What does that make you feel like?
I think they should, and I think it would be a great thing to do, especially right
Really?
now.
It's
And then when
interesting.
you have
Yeah.
like, they did that in NBA, so they can do that. They have the power
Okay.
to do that, and they're not
Yeah.
afraid to do that because they cut that in
Interesting.
NBA. They went from 1,000 res to 100 res. Didn't really
Mm-hmm.
help, but because the
But I
problem
think
is then people.
it'd probably have more of an impact over here, though, wouldn't it?
Nah, no, because then because then the rewards are gonna be even more hard to get. The problem is we have to exchange.
But that's what we want, no?
Card. We can't have card rewards anymore. That's all I'm saying, and then we're golden. We can't
So you
have.
think if they just sell every card that they mint and reward cash, that is the answer?
That's a better way to go than now. Not every card,
Okay.
but 3/4 of the supply they're doing right now. Let's say we have one with rewards and auctions. Put that together, auction 3/4. I think we're good. And
Charlie
the
says,
rest
I
is in
think their
cash.
main issue is that they're not confident in themselves. Their decision making is too dependent on sentiment. The fitness update is an example. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for sure. They're not. Because they're also driven by this community, which is also because since we are all owners, as we say.
Well, I mean, yeah, without us, they're nothing at the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
without paying players, they're literally nothing at the end of the day. Like, that's most businesses. Well, it's obviously, every business, but, like they need to keep us happy for the most part. Otherwise, we're not going to come back and buy more cards,
Man, they're also going to, I'm pretty sure they're going to ball out the park with the announcement. I think it's going to be a very great announcement. I have it and I feel it in my balls, to be honest. I know it. It's gonna be gonna be great. And I don't think cutting the supply is gonna be any good, to be honest. It's in theory it sounds great, but then rewards are gonna be even harder to get if you don't exchange them with cash rewards, basically, or credits on the lower ends. And but yeah, if not, the same thing happens as a new NBA did, and it's got virtually impossible for people to win something because there's only 100 left now to give out a supply, and yeah, this is not the greatest. So basically, instead of having 300, and then people will always complain, oh, it's too hard to win, it's so hard to win. It's always gonna be somebody complaining. The thing is,
it has to be hard to win, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think we all are in agreement about that.
But it shouldn't be harder to win. If it gets even harder to win as it is at the moment, they screw themselves because the prices are not worth investing more or competing more to get those prices. If the prices get higher, then it can also get higher and harder to actually.
Right, yeah. So we're saying we need the jackpot. We need the jackpot back.
We need the freaking jackpot element back, or at least somehow. And you need to be freaking excited to sit there on a Friday, the last hour before the game week, watching Quinian and Harry talk about the lineups and see who's actually
and make sure you get things right because there's a lot on the line, or relative again for everyone. But
and that's essential and key. If not, there's not gonna be FOMO, and if there's no FOMO, there's no fun as well. In a way, in a very stupid way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're still fun, but it's just not as fun, is it, as what we've kind of been used to. But, were they just golden ages? Will we just have to look back at them and say, you know what? They were great when they lasted, but as we know, Feder, good things.
But it's a
can't
very
last
young.
forever.
Of course, that's for sure, and it's going to change. But I think we are at a point in Sorare's history that it can actually change to the better in the future, in my opinion. And yeah, and I hope they are just ball it out of the park and show everybody who didn't believe in them what they're actually capable of
I
doing.
think they
Because
will.
I know
They've
they are.
taken their time. Yeah, I don't not believe in them. Like I think they'll do it. Whatever they come out with, I think is going to make sense. They would have thought about this for a long time, and yeah, you just got to trust them at the end of the day, which is sometimes hard. I get it.
If we wouldn't believe in them, we wouldn't sit here on a Monday night talking about Sorare. You know what I mean?
No. And on that note, to be fair, I do need to make a move because I will be late for the next thing I need to do.
Yes,
so
me too.
Lads, I do appreciate all 38 of you for joining live. Honestly, means the absolute world to me and Feder. We will be back with an MLS special next episode. Sorry to leave so sort of, abruptly, but I do need to make a move, lads. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Feder, thank you. Love the confetti, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you for